the current sentiment in the credit card community, I was a little scared to make this video, but I personally just renewed my American Express Gold Card. With most of credit card YouTube turning their back on the Gold Card and American Express in general, I believe this credit card is still justifiable. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why I specifically paid the $250 annual fee and my overall outlook of this credit card in the future. Now, before I hop into that content, guys, feel free to smash that subscribe button as it directly supports my channel. And I would love for you guys to come along this YouTube journey with me. Now, when that $250 annual fee hit my statement, I had to decide, is this credit card worth keeping open or should I cancel it? And as you can see by the name of this video, guys, I decided to renew the American Express Gold Card and pay that $250 annual fee. And we're going to talk about 4 specific reasons on why I decided to keep this open, with the first being my personal lifestyle. Now, as always, guys, when you are deciding if a credit card is right for you, take into consideration your personal expenses. My expenses might differ from yours or another YouTube provider that you may be watching. So always take into account your specific situation. So as we know, the American Express Gold Card gets you back 4x on dining in the form of American Express points, as well as 4x back on grocery. Now, for both of these categories, the American Express shines amongst its competition, but where a lot of people see an issue with is the annual fee, which is why I always emphasize to make sure this credit card works for you. Now, living in Miami, Florida, I do eat out often. I'll put a couple screenshots here on recent times I've used this credit card, so it makes sense. I do live a fast-paced lifestyle. I have a full-time job as a nurse practitioner, as well as 2 individual side hustles. So eating out makes sense for me. So this credit card gets a ton of usage, and as well as not only on dining, but groceries. So if you are someone that is avidly spending on groceries as well as dining, then this card might make sense for you, especially when you take into consideration other things such as credits that can assist you in offsetting the annual fee. But we're going to go into that a little bit later into this video. Without taking into consideration any other value on this credit card, solely by spending around $6,000 to $6,500 in these 4X categories offsets the annual fee. That does not count things like transfer partners, sign-up bonuses, or credits, which are all things that add additional value to this credit card. Speaking about credits, that takes us to our second reason on why I personally renewed this credit card, and that is the monthly credits attached to this card. Now, if you saw my previous video I uploaded about a month ago on 5 reasons to think about applying for this credit card, I mentioned credit. And that is because a large majority of people who cancel this credit card do not extract value from these credits. Now, I personally fall into the population that I obtain extreme value from these credits on a monthly basis. If you're unaware of the 2 specific credits that I'm talking about, the American Express Gold Card comes with a Uber credit where you can utilize this either on Uber for transportation or Uber Eats. This comes in a $10 increment 12 times per calendar year. You're also given a dining credit where you can use this at Cheesecake Factory, Gold Belly, Shake Shack, and my personal favorite, Grubhub, again in $10 increments, 12 months per year. So when you add both of these credits together, you get $240 worth of credits every calendar year you hold this credit card. And you sometimes hear YouTubers state that the credits offset the annual fee, making it effectively $10. And this is true. But I like to put a little asterisk and emphasize that this is only true if it makes sense for your personal lifestyle. If you are not someone utilizing Uber for transportation or dining, as well as the restaurants listed for the dining credit, these credits do not offset anything in your life, thus not offsetting the annual fee. So as I was emphasizing before, make sure these credits make sense for you. The way I personally justify these credits and determine that they make sense for my lifestyle is by ordering Uber Eats as well as Grubhub for pickup. As someone, like I stated before, that orders out oftenly, I order my food for pickup either via Uber Eats and Grubhub, and I make sure that it stays under $10. One way I navigate around that is something I love to get very oftenly is coffee from coffee shops. And I live in a neighborhood that has, I believe, 3 coffee shops on the first floor. This is something that I'm doing already. So instead of going downstairs and ordering it myself, I will order Uber Eats for pickup, which is under $10. It usually comes out to about $9.50. And my credit offsets this completely. Now, where this can get a little messy is I've seen other YouTubers talk. If you have a family of, let's say, 4, When you start incorporating all of the Uber Eats fees as well as the elevated prices for certain menu items, this credit starts to not even put a dent into what you are potentially saving. So, for me, being someone that is married with no children, this makes sense. If I'm ordering a coffee, I'll order mine for pickup and then go to the coffee shop and order my wife's. Or if I'm working from home alone, I'll just get my own coffee. This makes sense again for my lifestyle. And whether I had the Uber Eats credits or Grubhub credits, I will still buy these cups of coffee. So I am not going out of my way for anything. And this card is adding value in this sense. The third reason on why I decided to renew my American Express Gold Card is access to the American Express ecosystem and transfer partners. With a large majority of my credit card rotation focused on the Chase ecosystem, having access to the flight partners offered by American Express gives me flexibility in designing the vacation solely in credit card points. Having access to flight partners such as Mexico, where I just use them to go to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, when the Chase flight partners weren't allowing me to. Delta, as well as Qantas Airlines, allows me flexibility when designing the vacation of my dreams. An example on why this flexibility is so important to me can be seen in a recent flight I booked via Iberia, solely in American Express points. I am in September going to Barcelona, where I booked a $4,000 flight for myself as well as my wife, solely in American Express points via the airline Iberia. Now, as we know, Iberia is a Chase Ultimate Award transfer partner as well, but I reserve a large amount of my Chase points solely for World of Hyatt stays. So, having these two ecosystems, I can book all of my hotel stays in Chase points and dedicate my American Express points for flights, specifically via airlines that I don't have access to, or even some that I do, such as Iberia. So, having these flexibility amongst multiple currencies allows me to navigate around the credit card game as well as redeeming these points and miles for tangible vacations for $0 out of pocket. Moving on to the fourth point, and arguably one of the most important for my credit card rotation, is the 4x back on groceries in American Express points. And that is because, as you guys know, I am a Chase fanboy, I'm a Chase loyalist. And one common gap that all of their credit cards have is the lack of a grocery multiplier. I'm waiting for the day for Chase to have a grocery credit card or another one of their credit cards have a consistent grocery multiplier. At this time, all we get is the one time a year quarterly multiplier from the Chase Freedom Flex or the multiplier on the Chase Sapphire Preferred for online groceries. Doing a lot of my grocery shopping at places like Aldi's or Publix, none of my Chase credit cards get me that consistent 3 to 4x back on groceries. So the American Express Gold Card fills in that gap and adds value with its dining and credits across the entire calendar year. So when I decided 100% I was going to keep the American Express Gold, I applied for what's called a retention offer. And if you're unaware, a retention offer is when you contact support and let them know that you're on the fence of canceling this credit card to see if they can kind of sweeten the deal with an additional kind of mini sign-up bonus. It'll be something like spend $3,000 and you'll achieve $200 in members reward points. Unfortunately, I tried via phone as well as via the chat box with two separate representatives. I'll put the text up here on the screen, and I was denied twice. Now, this wasn't the end of the world for me because I knew I was going to keep this credit card regardless, but an additional lump sum of Amex points would have been super nice. I'm going to try in the next probably 4 to 6 months again to see if I can get lucky and get some additional value extracted out of this credit card and see what happens in the future with American Express. As we know, there is some changes looming in the future for American Express and potentially the Gold Card. So if something does happen that's not in my favor, I will try to get this retention bonus and keep this credit card for a little bit longer. Well, guys, those are the 4 reasons why I personally decided to renew this $250 annual fee credit card when most people are turning their backs on it. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize are these 4 things pertain to my personal lifestyle and credit card setup. And if you see yourself not utilizing these credits correctly or getting mileage out of the 4X categories this card offers, then canceling it is the correct answer. There's no harm in eliminating annual fees from your credit card rotation when they are no longer adding value to your life. Now, if you are on the market for a credit card to replace the American Express Gold Card, especially with no annual fee, I have a video right here for you guys. And hit that subscribe button if you enjoy content such as this.